Opposition party members are starting to look back at what went wrong during the lead up to the federal election, particularly in Quebec.
So it's always emotional. On the other hand, we want to win. We want to form the government, which is not the case. So obviously this is a mixed feeling.
So that was Conservative MP Gerard Deltel, who won back his seat in the Quebec City region. Quebec is often seen, we know, as a key battleground province. It holds 78 seats, second highest in the country. This year, the Conservatives won 11 of those seats, compared to the Liberals winning 44. And that is what some experts believe cost the Conservatives this election. With more, I'm joined this morning by Donald Gill. He's Assistant Professor of Canadian Politics at Concordia University. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
We know that Mr. Poilievre spent a lot of time in Quebec. They understand the importance of this province in the election cycle. We also know that they haven't broken over sort of low double digits in the last couple of elections. Why isn't the party able to gain more ground in this key province?
Yeah, listen, if there was an opportunity in sort of the recent history of the Conservative Party to make the long-awaited breakthrough in Quebec, you might have expected that Mr. Poilievre would have been in a strong position to lead that charge. He speaks French better than any Conservative leader in a very, very long time. And like you said, he spent a lot of time in Quebec trying to woo Quebec voters towards his brand of conservatism, including doing a lot of media work, which he didn't really do in English Canada to the same way. He sort of, was working with the mainstream media on the French side in Quebec in a way that certainly was not the case at all in English Canada. And yet ultimately the version of conservatism, which is much more kind of oriented in Western Canadian populism, closely connected to the Reform Party back in from the 90s, which of course is where Mr. Poilievre got his start in politics. That type of conservatism remains something of a turnoff for Quebecers outside of that kind of beachhead of 10-ish seats that the Conservative Party have been able to win around the Quebec City area over the past couple of elections.
Well, attempts to break through in Quebec go back to Stephen Harper. Over the last 5 elections, Conservatives have not been able to gain more than 12 seats. So what is Quebec looking for in a Conservative Party, and why isn't the party seeming to connect that message?
Again, the Conservative Party has historically had challenges bridging some of the linguistic and cultural divides, that Quebec has with other parts of Canada. But I think it's worth remembering also that there are different brands of conservatism across the entirety of Canada, right?
Yes.
We're a very regionally divided country. And, we saw over the course of this election that the Conservative Party of Canada had a significant friction with the Progressive Conservative Party of Ontario, led by Doug Ford. And also towards the end of the campaign, it emerged that there was lots of tensions with Tim Houston's Progressive Conservative Party in Nova Scotia also. So Quebecers it's not like there isn't conservatives in this province or that there isn't conservatism in this province. It's just that it tends to break in a slightly different way, and that there are cultural differences to how Quebec conservatives kind of want to be wooed and see, especially that mix between sort of fiscal or monetary conservatism with social conservatism, and also that populist rhetoric, that tone and style that Mr. Poilievre adopted in such a pugilistic and that attack dog kind of fashion. I think that was a big turnoff for Quebecers over a very long period of time, and it was a huge challenge for Mr. Poilievre to turn his image around, his persona around in the mindset of many Quebec voters.
But here's the piece, Donnell, that I don't understand. He did a ton of French media. His French is excellent. He made a point of pointing out that they speak French at home, that his child speaks French. You talk about similar values, like they would align in immigration, for example, on things like that. Yet they voted to give 44 seats to the man who represented the Bank of England. You do not get much more Anglo than that. So how are the Liberals able to take it and the Conservatives sit at 12?
It's a great question. Like I said, Mr. Poilievre, not only does he speak French excellently, but he speaks very colloquial Quebec French in a way that in theory should be able to break down barriers and make voters feel that sense of warmth towards him. And Mr. Carney's French, as we talked about a lot over the course of the campaign, is not especially excellent. And insofar as he has French, it almost comes with a Parisian tinge rather than someone from the regions of Quebec.
So he did all the things, as you point out. He did all the things on paper. I don't know what more he could have done. So what is it that seems to almost offend French voters that they don't put it with the Conservatives?
Yeah, I think ultimately it is that Mr. Poilievre really had a hard time, even when he tried quite hard in Quebec to tone down that Western Canadian populist style of rhetoric and tone. It never really was something that voters bought into, that this was, that he was asked when he went on the very popular Quebec TV show, Tout le monde en parle, he was asked by the host, are you, which Pierre Poilievre is the real one? Are you the angry guy in Parliament? Or are you the smiling guy sitting opposite me here? And so Quebecers always felt that, there was a little bit of maybe a shell game at play, that he was trying to present one face to Quebec and another to the rest of Canada, or at least Western Canada in particular, where that angry populist style has much more traction. And ultimately, again, it's a case of the brand of conservatism that Mr. Poilievre represented. It massively hit a wall here in Quebec. And there are kind of lots of historical reasons why conservative parties have had a hard time breaking through in Quebec. And so there's a kind of a muscle memory within the Quebec electorate to kind of take that second look and be slightly skeptical towards conservative leaders who are trying to break through big. And when conservatives tend to make gains in Quebec, it's often with the assistance of a powerful and popular premier, the likes of René Lévesque or Maurice Duplessis in the past, who kind of, give social license to voters to take a punt, take that beau risk, as René Lévesque said in 1984, on a conservative leader. And Mr. Poilievre did not have that support at provincial level and didn't court it, did not strategically work alongside small C conservatives in the province of Quebec, like he didn't also in other provinces. We mentioned Ontario and Nova Scotia, and perhaps that pipeline of talent within conservatism at provincial level needs to be better tended into the political party, so that if Mr. Poilievre wants to stay on as leader, and his leadership is a little bit of a liability in growing their movement and their voter base in certain parts of the country, it might be a good idea for the Conservative Party to sort of attract, recruit, and then deputize powerful local spokespeople on behalf of the party within regions of the country that have distinct brands of conservatism, and Quebec would be a really good example of that.
Donald Gill, Assistant Professor of Canadian Politics at Concordia University. Great insights this morning. Thanks for your time.
Thanks a million. Have a great day.
If you like that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed, where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.